Alright, so back at the range. Shout out to Steve, my boy Steve, for making me this dope design will work for ammo t-shirt. But I asked a question on my Instagram, what's most important when shooting a pistol? Is it grip, stance, sight alignment, or trigger control? And for the topic, to make this easier, I'm gonna lump trigger control and grip into the same category. So trigger control and grip, right? And out of those three things, I would say the most important is trigger control, because your stance won't always be perfect. Your sights should be lined up, and then even if they are, they'll be, you can say, oh, my sight was right in the middle of the target. But if you squeeze that trigger in any way other than what's intended, that round is gonna go somewhere where you didn't mean for it to go. So I tell people, when you're gripping your gun, always get right up here on that beaver tail, fill up that empty space, not squeeze, but just, that natural grip angle. I tell people, like, you grip your gun like you're grabbing a child that's running into a street with traffic coming. You're not grabbing it to break their arm. You're not grabbing their arm to break it. You're grabbing it to control them. That's all we're doing, is controlling the pistol, right? So you can have a good stance, good grip, sight alignment, but if you start smacking that trigger, that gun is gonna go, that round is gonna go somewhere where it's not intending to go, because you're disrupting the natural order of the gun. The trigger is meant to be pulled straight back to the rear, right? So we'll get up here on some paper. So we're at about, let's say 7 yards ish, barely, right? So we're at about 7 yards, and we're just gonna sight in and just slap the trigger, for instance, right? So we're here and we go, right? So I'm 7 yards from the target, right? I don't know how many shots I fired. I didn't count. But this is my grouping right here. So I got one down here, two down here, one dead center. Don't know how I did that. Here, two over here. I'll run back and count the shots. But it's not very good trigger control, right? So hold on. All right, so we're back. So I had to just load up some more ammo. I didn't feel like doing all that on screen. But so that was slapping the trigger, right? So now we're gonna take, some nice, decent trigger pulls and see where we're at now. All right. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, something like that. All right. So from that same distance with decent trigger pull, we're now all inside of this area right here. So I say that to say trigger control and understanding how to run the trigger and pull it back to the rear and do all that good stuff is vital in being able to be accurate and hit what you're aiming at. So if you're slapping the trigger, you're jerking, recoil, anticipation, all that little stuff in there, that is going to affect your shot placement and how well that gun is hitting where you want to hit it at. So again, stance is cool, right? So I'm standing here, my feet are together, I might even lean back a little bit, but I don't slap the trigger. I don't do anything crazy. I can, teacup, we talk about grip. I can teacup it and still hit what I'm aiming at, because I'm not doing anything crazy with the trigger. One hand. Missed, right? So I can hit it. I know I can hit it. So if you find yourself shooting low left, low right, just all types of places, and you say, I got a good stance, I got my sights lined up, I got a good grip, but I can't hit what I'm aiming at, most likely you are doing something funky with that trigger. So try not to jerk it, try not to do the recoil anticipation, and I can just about guarantee you that if you slow down, understand how your trigger breaks, where to pull it at, you will hit what you are aiming at. all about training. It's all about getting better. I used to be that person. Sight, lined up, grip, good, stance, good, low left, low right, somewhere random. I used to be that person until somebody sat me down and said, hey, you need to watch how you're pulling the trigger. And so I took the advice, fed it in, trained with it, and I became better at it. So yeah, hope that helps somebody out there. Remember, if you feel like you are shooting low or off center or all that good stuff, try to figure out how you're manipulating the trigger. So remember, it's not a hobby, it's a lifestyle. Get out here, shoot, train, be proficient. Until next time, Simple Carry Life.